Can we get Assassin's Creed released on Steam so they're subject to their T's and C's and have to release it within 3 months? We're alive.
Yeah,
we
we are
exist.
back. It's been a little bit. It's been a crazy few weeks, but things have kind of started to smooth out. Things are going well again, so we should be back to our normal scheduling. It's our 99th episode, one before 100, and this channel turns 2 years old on the 15th of January, which is insane.
2 years already, man. Is crazy.
Oh, I know. We do have quite a bit to discuss because obviously we've been gone for like 2 weeks over the last 4 weeks. It's crazy.
It's just that time of year. People are getting sick
Yeah.
commonly. Other things happen.
Anything
There's
and
a lot of
everything.
stuff happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty much just everything.
But due to this, we do have a backtrack of some news that I would like to cover. So we'll be starting with some Assassin's Creed Shadow news.
Oh, right. Okay, that's what. Okay.
Yeah. We'll be
Should have
moving
known.
on to Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 information, considering that sequel is on its way, and I adore the first game. After that, we'll be talking. There was a reason I pulled onto this, and now I can't remember what it was. That's not right. Go away. That right. Then we'll be moving on to Lenovo Legion, which will be the first other handheld PC gaming device which will be running the SteamOS, which is fantastic to hear.
I mean, I don't know about you, bro. I could hold my PC while I game. It's technically handheld. It might be a little
Yeah,
awkward, but I could do it.
yeah. I mean, it'd be very fucking heavy, and I'd probably like throw my back out after about 10 minutes. But
No,
hey
no,
ho.
you balance it out. You take your PC to your back, and then you get straps to the monitor and put it on your shoulder so it leans forward and like dangles off your front.
Oh fuck it
And then you just like angle your neck down, and then just attach your keyboard to your left leg and make your right leg a mouse pad.
I'll simplify it. I'll just put it on my lap, and then if it starts lagging, I'll just give it pets. That should calm it down.
It's not a laptop. Don't treat it like one.
um, After that, we'll be discussing. Considering I can't believe we missed this, Nvidia's RTX 50 series announcements. We need to cover this mandatorily.
Yeah, without a doubt. There's been a lot of yelling going on over it.
Yeah. After that, Deus Ex Mankind Divided writer didn't like the ending either. Nothing is resolved. Thought it would be interesting because I know one of your favourite franchises
Yeah, and there's
is the
meant
Deus
there.
Ex
Well,
series.
we covered it. There was meant to be one, but obviously it got cancelled, as
Yeah,
did many other projects over the last year and a bit.
exactly. And finally, it wouldn't be January without discussing something to do with layoffs.
No,
Splash Damage says layoffs are likely as the Transformers game announced in 2022 is cancelled. So, with all that said and done, let's get into this, and we can start this episode with a bit of a bang. By that I mean destroying Ubisoft yet again.
so do we just like mid through this topic just hear an explosion in the distance, and that was Ubisoft just imploding?
Yeah, I mean it could be. To be honest, it really could be.
Starting to
So,
get the feeling.
so this is the announcement we received by the Assassin's Creed Twitter account on the September the 20th, 2024. Dear players, Assassin's Creed Shadows is a dream project for us, finally bringing the series to feudal Japan, so on and so forth. Everyone remembers this. This was the big announcement that said, yeah, it's going to be releasing February 14th, 2025. Now, there's very little reason for me to bring this up, apart from there's another one that says Assassin's Creed Shadows now releases in March 20th, 2025.
When was the original release? November or what?
Yeah, some point in November.
And don't forget, they also cancelled like beta access for
They
pre-purchasers.
did, yes. They cancelled early access for it as well, which is insanity. But here's what they're saying now. Dear players, we want to extend our heartfelt thanks to our incredible fans and dedicated teams for your unwavering support since our announcement in September to further refine and polish Assassin's Creed Shadows. You're getting into cyberpunk territory, guys. Since
I know I said before, like with so much hope that any game could do what Cyberpunk did and bring their game back. I'm starting to doubt my words more and more.
um,
It upsets me, man.
oh, 100%, mate, 100%. Since November, we've been thrilled to share our progress through gameplay overviews, and the overwhelming excitement has truly inspired us. Each week has brought valuable feedback to from our community. While we've already made remarkable strides, we believe a few additional weeks are needed to implement that feedback and ensure an even more ambitious and engaging day one experience. Accordingly, the new release date is March 20th, 2025. We remain
Can we
committed. Go on, sorry.
can we get Assassin's Creed released on Steam so they're subject to their T's and C's and have to release it within 3 months? So we can see
Subject
the
to their
shitstorm that
T's,
comes out.
subject to their T's and C's, and also so that we can see actual review scores.
Oh,
Like that,
even
that is
better.
the part I
Get Steam
love.
DB up.
Yeah, Steam reviews are the greatest feature, to be honest. We remain committed to delivering a high-quality, immersive experience fostered by ongoing dialogue between our players and development teams. We know you're eager to learn more about Assassin's Creed Shadows, and we're excited to share that more updates will be coming your way very soon. From Mark Alexis Curte on behalf of all teams working in Assassin's Creed Shadow. Now, it says something when this received 47k likes. Domino's didn't fucking ratio, but call us if you need help delivering on time. Now, if Domino's is taking pot shots at you,
Domino's, man.
Altair waiting for his pizza since 12:57. I mean, fair response, but still, you know,
Domino's coming in here with the call lights though is kind of crazy.
yeah. And you know what? Fair play to them because they're not wrong. Fucking deservedly so. So, the BBC even reported on this, which is insanity to me. Very
The
rarely
BBC got to do with
happens.
this shit, man.
I know,
Yeah, yeah.
right? It's very rare they cover these sort of things.
So, something to get out.
Well, to be honest, I thought this would be the smallest form, but to be honest, they're not even that. The long-running series is one of a French publisher's flagship franchises, as we know, with recent installment Valhalla reportedly making more than $1 billion. That's actually insane. I didn't know that.
That's a very large number indeed.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed Shadows is set in, yeah, we know about all that. Was due to be released on PC, PlayStation, and Xbox last November, you were correct, before an initial delay to February 2025, announcing that the new release date is on the 20th of March.
So if they were subject to Steam, it would be first released in February.
Well, that's for early access games, sadly. It
Oh.
wouldn't really kick in.
You better Steam.
Yeah.
Force their hand.
Force their hand. Get them to release their games.
Give them no choice. Let us see the steaming pile of shit that they have waiting for us.
Oh, ain't that the truth? Players complain that Ubisoft's major 2024 release, Star Wars Outlaws, was launched with bugs and glitches. I remember us discussing that quite in a bit of detail, to the point where even our year-end review mentioned it. You were so happy that day. The company bosses told investors the sci-fi tie-in sales were softer than expected, and said learning from Outlaw's launch had prompted the original delay to Assassin's Creed Shadows. In this update, Mr. Cote thanked fans for their support and said, "Yeah, we've already read this, so that's fine." Let's move on. Assassin's Creed Shadows is seen as an important title for Ubisoft, one of the biggest gaming companies in the world with an estimated 13,000 employees worldwide. Its other
I
2024...
feel that number is going to diminish very quickly.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me in the slightest, to be honest with you. Its other 2024 titles, Prince of Persia: The Lost Crown, and pirated-themed online game Skull and Bones, were also reported to have fallen below the company's expectations. Right.
I wonder why.
You took everything that made those games have an audience and got rid of it. What did you anticipate? The company also discontinued online shooter X Defiant and closed 3 of its studios. I think that says everything right there, doesn't it? In a conference call held around the same time as the Assassin's Creed delay was made public, CEO Guillemot told investors Ubisoft was taking decisive steps to reshape the company. It was also looking to drive significant cost reductions, the meeting heard. Good luck to them. Strong appeal. BBC News spoke to James Batchelor, former editor-in-chief of Game... Okay. Claimed that Assassin's Creed was the series' golden goose for Ubisoft. Yeah, that doesn't shock me in the slightest. They've been pumping them out for years. I mean, we saw that with Assassin's Creed... what was it? It was the most recent release. You know what? Always keep this on standby, because you never know when you're going to need it. Assassin's Creed, what were you called? Mirage, that was the one. Assassin's Creed Mirage, it was just pumped out, you could tell. While Ubisoft's 2024 had been tough, James told Newsbeat that colleagues who'd played the preview versions of Assassin's Creed Shadows were impressed with the game. Yes, but to be fair, at the same time, when have we ever taken gaming media's opinion as fact? The amount of games that they push, Concord being a prime example, in my opinion, that they claim it's a masterpiece, it's fantastic, that player bases did not receive well. So we can't trust those words. He also pointed out that feudal Japan setting was one series fans had been requesting for a long time, and he expected this to drive sales. It would have done if they hadn't have made initial mistakes, because there was controversy shrouding a lot of it. Whether or not it sells quite the levels it would have done in November, or whether it sells as well as they hope, I don't know. Not a shock, to be honest. No one can predict this. No one would expect to be able to. But of all the things they've put out the last year and the varied performance they've had, this one has the strongest chance to be and the strongest appeal. Of course it does. But if this flops, like it's a possibility it's going to do, then...
With the performance they've output all year, it's very possible.
Exactly. At which point I do have to hold the question, what happens to Ubisoft after that? Is there going to be cuts?
We'll have to wait and see.
You know what I mean? So, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. I absolutely adore the first game. I thought it was phenomenal. To the point where you had to actually learn how to read was insanity to me, but also it was really cool and really fun. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I think it's a great game. But apparently the sequel looks and plays better in all the right ways so far, according to people that have got hands on. And there is the first 43 minutes of gameplay that has been released, which I'm very happy to see. The combat style for the game was insanely different. Graphically, it was a stunning game originally. It seems like they've continued that same art style. Anything that you can access, you seem to be able to do. Though that seems like it's possibly pushing towards being able to craft things in more detail, which I'm intrigued by. Combat still seems about the same.
As we've
Ah,
said about games that we've loved and enjoyed, when you enjoy a game enough, all you want of it is more.
yeah,
You
and
don't
that's
want
seemingly
this
what they've done.
crazy shit that they try to do that very rarely ever pays off. You just want more. You
Exactly.
want it to continue. You want it to keep going. You just want to explore more, do more, have more things to go around and dick around with.
Exactly that. Don't get me wrong, this game is it's rough to play. It's quite difficult at times, but it's so
I
much
mean,
fun.
there's people who like those kind of games.
Yeah. I really
There's
got
some
into
games
it.
I play on the hardest difficulty that is nearly impossible, and yet you still play through it for some reason because you're some sort of maniac. We've all
Masochist.
been there, we've all done it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely a better word.
Almost everything Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 has to offer feels like a careful refinement of its predecessor. Thank you, Rory. No, I'm really happy to hear that. To be honest, I didn't want to go too far into this because people can go away, watch these things as much as they want. They can get their own opinions on it. But I just wanted to quickly cover that this is actually going out. I'm really excited to see more about it. I don't want to spoil the first game for anyone that's not played it. I highly recommend you pick it up. On sale, I think it's about £5. I'm not even actually sure how much it is nowadays.
I imagine it's going
Uh,
to be that expensive. Oh,
£27 currently.
it's decent,
Uh,
decently expensive.
yeah, the sequel comes out the 4th of Feb. Go away, you. Uh, and
I mean,
that's in 3 weeks'
hey,
time.
£50 price tag, 65 or 66 for the gold edition. Like that's still cheaper. That's cheaper than the base version of most games.
Yeah, and to be fair, the Gold Edition you get 3 upcoming expansions and Shields of Seasons Passing. So you know what? I'm not completely against that either.
Three
Uh,
expansions is pretty good.
yeah, I mean, and to be honest, that'll probably be their main 3, and that'll be it. Because if the first one's anything to go by with them, because I know they've done similar with the first game. Let me pull this up. Yeah, I know, I'm definitely of age, don't worry. Yeah, so basically you got A Woman's Law, Band of Bastards, From the Ashes, The Amorous Adventures of Baltzar Hans Capon, and Treasures of the Past. From the Ashes was cool because it allowed you to take control of your own town and build it. So you became the leader of this little town. But none of the
Hmm.
little DLCs, like, they weren't really anything that was too much. You got some audio packs that were free, like, but they weren't extremely expensive even when they came out. You got some treasure stuff, the town building, as I said, some extra quests. I can't remember what that is. I think that's more quests, and then I believe this was also some more quests, but you played from someone else's like view about what happened. But it was really enjoyable for what it was as well. The level up system's bizarre. I had to learn. I think I've told you this story before, but I had to learn how to read and write from a priest.
Yeah,
And this
it was one of the
priest,
episodes you
yeah,
talked about it more in depth.
yeah, the priest was basically an alcoholic, and we went on a night of debauchery. It was insanity. It was good fun though. Highly enjoyed it. So yeah, I do hope there is more insanity in the sequel, and I look forward to getting my hands on it when the time comes. So, there's not really much I can say about the Lenovo Legion Go S. Pre-orders are now live, as this says. This person's waiting for the $500 SteamOS version. Because basically, at the moment, what they're selling is a $729 version, which is for Windows 11. So you will be able to play more, but you are limited on the specs and everything else, as you'd anticipate. But they're also planning to launch another version which runs solely the SteamOS. For anyone that doesn't know what the SteamOS is, it was the operating system created by Steam to be, created alongside some people with Valve's input to allow for Steam games to be ran on the Steam Deck. which is, to be honest, it's a great system.
Even
But
better is they probably optimized it as well for
oh yeah, it's
specifically
well done.
gaming, and not for any sort of desktop use, just gaming, which
Yeah.
means it probably runs even better than Windows 11 in a sense.
Well, it's a Linux version, and the best way to actually like kind of go through this, if I go to categories up here, I can actually go onto Steam Deck right here, and they basically have games that are fully developed for the Steam Deck. So I can, even Cyberpunk's on there. And basically, Cyberpunk would do pretty much similarly to how they develop for, let's say, Xbox, PlayStation, so on and so forth. They'll develop specifically for this platform as well. And it doesn't require much changes from the Windows version, just some extra little edits and controller inputs. And that's about it. But you can actually see, where is it?
It's nice though that the devs actually go through the effort of just doing those few small changes to give further accessibility to the game.
Yeah, and it says Steam actually label them to see if they're Steam Deck compatible. Now you can get verified, you can get not completely and stuff like that. If you press learn more, it actually gives even more details. So all functionality is accessible when using the default controller configuration. This game shows Steam Deck controller icons. In-game interface text is legible on the Steam Deck, and the game's default graphics configuration performs well on the Steam Deck. Those are the criteria to hit verified. There's different criteria dependent on what game you're playing, but if something like Cyberpunk can run well on the Steam Deck, happy days, to be honest with you. So, yeah, this operating system is widely, probably going to be used quite a bit more in the future, and it's good to see. It's a good OS, people really like it, and Steam Decks have been, to be honest, received extremely well. I've actually not ever checked, considering we can see, like, certain bits of information. Is there a place that, like, if we hit back? Oh no, it just adds it to my cart. I'm kind of hoping we'd be able to see it, like a general area or something. What happens if I add it to my wish list? I have a lot of games in my wish list, so don't worry about that. But it should be. Does it just take me back here? It does. Bugger. I thought it might be a situation where basically we'd be able to see reviews and stuff, but doesn't seem to be. Which is a bit but oh well. Oh, you can actually get a refurbed one. I didn't even know. Damn,
Already?
They actually knocked some prices. Crazy. Yeah, all out of stock, but that's pretty cool. I never even knew about this. They knock 20% off and give you a 1-year warranty, the same as a brand new Steam Deck. That's pretty cool, actually. I'm kind of impressed, I must admit. Oh yeah, there it is. See verified games and see your library's compatibility. So yeah, you can properly get into quite a lot of games with the Steam Deck. I mean, 5,642 matches, which is insanity. So yeah,
you definitely got plenty of variety.
Yeah, it's not like you're ever going to run low on what to play. So yeah, the SteamOS, highly sought after. It's what people are probably going to start moving towards. There was rumors, as we spoke about earlier. I think it was a couple of weeks ago, where we mentioned how Xbox has a possibility of having a Steam app on it.
Really?
Did I not mention this? Oh, okay.
I don't think so. It doesn't sound familiar.
I must have just seen it and not paid attention much. But yeah, there's some rumors going around that Xbox
Do
might
remember
decide.
I'm very stupid, so it's very possible.
But yeah, apparently there's a chance Xbox might get a Steam application, which might allow them to play games through the Steam OS built into an application on an Xbox.
That's kind of crazy.
That would be insane, honestly, and I think it'd be fantastic for them. They'd be able to play a lot more games. They won't be able to play everything, obviously, because you are capped, but it would give a bit more freedom, a bit more leeway, and it'd be very interesting to see. Whether it goes ahead or whether it's just rumors, I don't know. but it was something that I saw on the grapevine, and I thought that would be interesting to mention. So yeah, I thought that'd be worth a quick go over. So yeah, I do hope that the Lenovo Legion Go S, the Steam Deck version, well, the SteamOS version, will be up to scratch and pretty decent. If not, all I can say overall, the Steam Decks are out there. People do like them, and they are good systems. So overall, definitely worth keeping an eye on. So, do Nvidia's GeForce RTX 50 series specs live up to the price? The hype. To be fair, the price too. The new Nvidia GeForce RTX 5090 looks very expensive and very good. But the RTX 5070 Ti is what really catches my eye. I'm not shocked. So I'm going to quickly come down here to the... we can have a look at some comparisons between cards. Sounds like fun. So from $2,000, Nvidia GeForce RTX 5090 in comparison to the 4090. So different code names, everything there. You got your teraflops that, to be honest, console fans are massively obsessed with talking about. 82.6 to 104.9. Shader units 16.384 to 21.760. Streaming processors 128 to 170. GPU clock. Now this is the stuff I care about, to be honest with you.
Actually, less.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that as well. But there is other things to take into account. The memory bus is 384 bits on the 4090, whereas it's 512 on the 5090. On top of that, they're using GDDR6 4090 and GDDR7 for the 5090. The graphics memory as well, 24 gig to 32 gig. But the power input, fuck me, this is going to be fun. 450 watts to 575 watts.
The 4090 used 450 watts, which is insane. Now we're going up to almost 600.
Yeah,
that's
like
crazy.
You're gonna need that like 1200 watts PSU at this point.
Yeah, and when you have matching components for it, definitely.
Oh, 100%.
That's crazy.
So they do actually have some performance graph. I'm gonna go to Nvidia themselves though for this, to be honest with you. Because I think it's just better to look at it properly. So we do have some graphs here, and this shows the 5090 to the 4090 in comparison, and this is just comparing the frames. So with ray tracing on Far Cry 6, you can see you just get over you get just a bit more frames. Plague Tale Requiem DLSS plus ray tracing, probably 1.5 times. Cyberpunk 2077 DLSS plus full ray tracing over 2 times the frames. Not bad. And performance. Alan Wake 2, same there. Black Myth Wukong, same there. And D5 rendering. Direct. I forget what D5 is now. There's a word for it, I just always forget the name of it. DLSS plus ray tracing over 2 times. And generative AI flux.dev, probably just hitting 2 times. So in comparison, there is definitely some strength there. But there has been some rumours that I have heard.
I've heard a lot as well. I'm interested to hear your thoughts, because obviously this is your department.
You're going to have to tell me some of the rumours you've heard, because I've probably not heard as much as you. As I said, I took pretty much 2 weeks away over the last 4 weeks, so you're the one that's going to have heard more than me here. But the bits I've heard,
I've not heard much now. Don't misunderstand me here.
No, but the bits I've heard, I probably aren't the same. That's what I'm saying. So I'm gonna want you to tell me what you've heard afterwards. So the bit I heard, the rumor, was that apparently these performance rates are only for specific games, and it's games that accept the DLSS 4.0 update. Basically stating that some of this comes down to the fact that it's basically for generative AI use. That's what DLSS is. It's generative AI trying to perform and basically just take on some of the roles. Now,
Yeah,
if
I
that's
remember
the
when
case,
they released DLSS 3.0 for Cyberpunk, and
exactly.
I looked into that a little bit.
Exactly that. And the 50 series, it'll be very similar in this regard. Now, if that is the case, I do worry because that means that anything that doesn't support that, are we really going to see improved rates, or is the 40 series going to actually improve, go above it? That's my concern personally.
From what you're saying there, it kind of makes you worry that the graphics cards are gonna essentially, in a way, be incompatible and basically not run nearly as well as even like basic graphics cards, let alone the 40 series.
Now, they'll still run well as GPUs because of the specs they've got. Whether they'll outperform is the question. Whether they'll
Yeah.
run the baseline is what I'm thinking. Don't get me wrong, they are still very powerful cards. It's just
I
that
mean,
worry.
absolutely. Yeah.
But we'd have to wait to get his hands on it to get full
Yeah, we
answers.
need to wait for people to get the GPUs and to start uploading reviews and like
Yeah.
people who just have too much money that have a 4090 and buy a 5090 to start doing so many comparisons and uploading
Unlike
stuff.
us.
And yeah, it's gonna be a lot of data to go over whenever it starts happening too.
Oh, 100%. 100% there is. So what have you heard precisely?
The main thing that I've seen, which is really the only bit I was interested in, because before I even get into it, the 4090 is already so overkill.
Oh yeah.
What even needs a 4090?
I can tell you. I actually have an example because I've been playing it the past week. And I actually wanted to mention this week. So Novus released.
Right, of course it's fucking Skyrim modding. You need a 9090 Super TI X double extreme to run fucking modded Skyrim.
Just you wait. This is insanity. I love Novus. I started playing because they recently released the 6.0. It's in beta though, to be honest with you. So I just wanted to show you, if I go to requirements here, what the
Of course
requirements
it's
are.
Skyrim,
So
though.
you got V5, which is the old one, which required a 3080 Ti to run at Ultra. But that's not the one I care about, because that one's not very good in comparison. We care about 6.0, which is what I'm on now, which is the beta. Now, if you want the ultimate variant, the minimum requirements...
Jesus Christ almighty.
Yeah. So this isn't even the ultimate version, realistically, because this is without exterior cities, which means you can't just walk through the gates. You've got to have like a blank screen.
The load screen, yeah.
Yeah. But if you want it without that, then these are the minimum specs.
My god.
Yeah.
That's insane. Right, can we get it? Do you have an example that's not Skyrim? I'm gonna guess no.
No.
No. So if we don't need a 4090 for anything, what the hell do you need a 5090 for? Genuinely. What on earth do you need a 5090 card for? Not Skyrim!
That's the only thing
Get off the screen! But
that
that aside, because that blows my mind. I just don't think it's necessary at all. What I saw though, which is what I was very interested in, which surely you heard something of, is the fact that the 5070 will supposedly, this is definitely in quotation marks, outperform the 4090. Basically, what I've seen people saying is in two areas, it does actually beat the 4090, but everything else is apparently just fake frames.
Right.
Is what I've seen said.
Which
I don't really know.
That would very much take us back to the thought that we were just having about the DLSS argument, to be honest with you, with the fake frames. Now, if you look at this, they have the same memory bit, they're running a better memory type, same graphics memory, roughly 50 watts more. The pricing's actually not bad there, I must admit. It's actually cheaper than the 4070, which is a bit surprised.
If you're going for like a good build, like 5070 is definitely going to be like insanely good card to have.
Well, I
But in terms of
personally,
performance, there's just
not
seems
much.
no 4090, Rory, not
Oh,
70,
4090, sorry.
4090.
Yeah,
Yeah,
this
this is where
is
it was like
the
this
thing,
is where
right?
I was like really questioning things.
I'm looking here, right? This is the 5070s specs. Okay,
Yeah,
we have to scroll all the way up here to get
to
back to
see
the
the 4090s.
4090, and this is the 4090.
Yeah,
You know, I'm kind of doubting that it's going to outperform it. I think it's genuinely just going to be on the idea of DLSS 4.0 that might push it there. Now,
yeah,
that's the only thing that I can imagine, and that's if the game supports DLSS 4.0.
yeah. I suppose yeah. With you saying all that,
Because a
you
game
it's gonna be
has
like a
to.
select few games that's gonna be able to do anything on.
Well, this is the thing. Developers have to install and set up DLSS 4.0 for it to work. It's not something that you just install a program and off it goes. It's very
Yeah,
much they have to work around installing it and implementing it. Now, the 5070 Ti, on the other hand, in comparison to the 5070 even, this is a big step up. Looking in comparison, you can tell that. You can also see it's a
yeah.
decent step up in comparison to the 4070 Ti, which is great to see. And to be honest, they're even going $50 cheaper than the prior. To be honest, I think they've done these $50 cheaper in each one. Oh wait, no, over $100 cheaper.
I will say the prices are
Yeah,
crazy.
no, that's
Especially
$200
the
cheaper.
5090. The 5090 is the other side of crazy.
Yeah, that's the thing. I think they
But
knocked the prices down for these so that they could put it on here. That's
literally,
what
like
they've done.
that's insane. 2 grand
So
for a card that's
200.
just simply not needed.
Yeah.
But to be
They
completely honest, if you're planning on playing newer games rather than older ones, the 5070 is going to be like an insanely good choice.
they basically just tacked on 100 here. So their entire prices have gone up by 100 this year because 1590 to that is $400 increase. That to that is $200 less. That to that is $50 less, and that to that is $50 less. So you take the 300 that they saved there, put it onto there, then you just add an extra 100 on. That's it. That's what's happened. So prices have gone up by $100, and it's
In a
only for the 50
way,
series.
in a way, like if it wasn't for the 4.0 stuff, they
Yeah,
would almost make the 40 series completely redundant
yeah, pretty much. If they focus
because
them
they're all
less,
cheaper and all better.
yeah, if they focus less on the DLSS side of things and focus just on graphics like the 1080 Ti used to, for example, I think that's always going to be my prime example, to be honest. But DLSS is a great feature, and it saves a lot of issues. Especially even if you just get an entry card nowadays, you're talking a 20 series, a 30 series card, because you can't buy for 20 series anymore. I keep forgetting. Um, but
Does that mean I can put my 2060 on for for sale for like 3 grand because you
sadly
can't get
not,
them?
mate. Sadly not.
Uh,
Um, but because of this, if you were to get an entry card, which would say like a 30 series, now you are getting DLSS. Even if you get a very cheap card for that, let's say you get a 30, 50, 30, 60, you then know you're not going to be able to perform very well on some games, but that DLSS is going to push you through. It's going to allow it to work better for you. So there is going to be some improvement there for the cheaper price. So you're not worrying too much about it in that regard, which is good to know, to be honest with you. And I can't really worry about that too much, but the specs look pretty reasonable. I'm just worried that they are becoming a bit over reliant on DLSS, which I can understand to an extent, as I said, but if we actually read this at the bottom, so each one is a relative performance. 4K max settings, DLSS SR preference, and DLSS RR on 40 series and 50 series. FG on 40 series, MFG 4X mode on 50 series. A Plague Tale Requiem only supports DLSS 3. Flux Dev FP8 on 40 series, FP4 on 50 series, CPU for games, and so for apps. This is just how it pretty much goes. It's a bit weird. So if I actually just move down a bit here from the specs wise, we could use, yeah, well, let's have a look at this video quickly. We'll have it quiet, but, oh, wait a second. Why are you at that? That's awful. Right. Can you tell much of a difference between the two, other than the frames?
I mean, the left
I
side
see
looks
some moving.
a good bit blurrier for me.
Yeah,
But I mean, again, I'm looking through Discord streams, so
yeah,
it's
you
a bit
are.
harder for me to tell.
Ray tracing. Yeah, we know about ray tracing.
Honestly, for
If
me,
I've,
my main thing now when it comes to gaming is being on the higher resolution
yeah, I've
because
noticed.
there's such a massive difference. Honestly, there's
Yep,
such a massive difference between 1080p and 1440p. Just it's so blurry in comparison.
100%. Reflex 2 is now also there, so basically it just lowers your reflex latency. That's what it's there to do. It's supposed to be pretty good. I've got it the basic version enabled on mine. It's not bad. Nvidia powers the world, AI and you. Yeah, basically it's something to do with just allowing more AI use in your PC. This is clearly showing Nvidia broadcast, so I'm very intrigued as to what they're planning to do with that. But we'll see. Creator space, stuff that people can do with things, and basically just general specs and information here. Oh wait, we can actually compare to a card. So you wanted to compare the 5090 to the 4070, didn't you?
All the way around 5070 to 4090.
5070 to the 4090. My apologies. There we go. Right, so here we go. We can actually do a side by side here.
Basically, Nvidia has said themselves that the 5070 will outperform the 4090, and people have basically just been constantly saying that it's basically just lies.
Yeah, looking at this, I can't see much of a way.
Yeah, there's like
Memory
two aspects.
bandwidth.
I think it's probably the DLSS 4.0 stuff is
Yeah,
where it's gonna
it's going to fly a bit higher.
uh yeah, which doesn't really do much for you if everything else is worse.
Now, the other thing that you need to obviously take into account is they are using newer generation equipment than what the prior one was. So the tensor
Yeah,
cores are 5th gen, the ray tracing's 4th gen, encoders 9th gen, decoders are 6th gen, so on and so forth. The memory bandwidth is going to severely impact the 5070 though, in comparison. The 5070 Ti again though comes in and massively annihilates the 5070,
yeah.
which I stand by the fact if you're going to go for one of
What's
these,
the difference between the 70 and the 70 Ti?
just here side by
Like
side, I'll
price
show you.
price wise, sorry, price
Price
wise
wise,
is what I meant to say. Add
if
on
we
to
were
that.
going price wise, we go back here. So the 5070 Ti is $750, and the 5070 is $550. So for an
So
extra
for the
200,
$50, oh, 200. I'm looking
200
at that wrong.
difference.
So I was.
It's okay.
It's a decent. It's a decent amount for that jump.
It
To be
is.
honest, if you were going budget, you definitely just get the
Yeah.
5070.
If you're going budget, definitely worth keeping just going for one or the other. Fucking go for the cheaper one of the two. Understandably
Yeah,
so. But to be honest with you, I probably wouldn't even look at these for a budget. I'd go to the 40 series because they're going to be cheaper at this time when these release. Because everyone's going to be
yeah.
offloading. So prices drop, demand goes higher on the 50 series, people are going to be able to pick up the 40
Do you
series for a bit
think?
cheaper.
Do you think we'll have another market crash like we did when the 40 series released?
No, we don't have supply issues like we did back then, so we're okay. So, Deus Ex: Mankind Divided writer didn't feel like the ending either. Didn't feel like the ending either. Nothing resolved. Okay. Didn't like the ending either. Sorry, misreading again. Why does this happen every week? The finale of Deus Ex Mankind Divided wasn't much loved by fans, which was surprising because you'd think the Deus Ex Human Revolution would have lowered expectations. I don't like this writer, Will. But
Off to a
it's,
great start.
yeah, but it's like the classic bad restaurant joke. Where the food's terrible, and what's worse, the portions are small. Mankind Divided's climax wasn't just an underwhelming battle against a guy who seemed more like a mini boss. When the credits suddenly rolled afterwards, you realise you're not going to get a second hub city, and another dozens hours of hacking people's emails to find out whether they're in the Illuminati or not. It's just over.
I don't think it was that bad.
A writer on both Human Revolution and Mankind Divided was recently interviewed by From Script to Life via Kotaku and agreed that with much of the criticism of the ending. It's definitely not finished, he said, explaining that final villain Marchenko was originally intended to be the halfway boss, and after defeating him, you get to travel to the augmented city of Rabaya. He was never the brains behind the thing, right? He's the muscle. To me, that's why it feels unsatisfying. Mankind
I have to be
Divided.
honest,
Go on.
I don't actually really remember a whole lot from Mankind Divided. I played Human Revolution
Oh
so
yeah,
many
great
times,
game.
and I had to wait a while before I could play Mankind Divided. I remember picking it up really cheap, but my system at the time couldn't really run it like at all.
Yeah, I remember this.
It was only until I got a better system I played it. I played through it definitely once, and then I tried to replay again, but just kept getting distracted doing other things, and like wasn't
That's
in the
you.
right mindset for doing it.
Mankind Divided had a rough time in development. We can tell that from the sequel that got cancelled. With Eidos Montreal splitting resources between the single player campaign and attacked on multiplayer mode, we had to chop the game up a lot because of studio problems and funding and all that stuff. I don't disagree with most of the criticism, especially when it comes to the ending. While the questions left hanging by Mankind Divided might have been answered by a sequel, the odds of actually getting one seem low. Eidos Montreal instead went on to develop Shadow of the Tomb Raider and Marvel's Guardians of the Galaxy. I actually really enjoyed both of those game franchises, the Tomb Raider games and the Marvel Guardians of the Galaxy. That was great.
Tomb Raider
Before,
usually goes down really well, and let's be
yeah,
honest, Marvel is like one of the most popular things, or at least they were. I feel like they've definitely gone down a bit
they
in
have.
recent times, mainly because the whole main franchise is kind of over.
Yeah. Before being acquired by Embracer Group, while development of a new Deus Ex game apparently picked up at Embracer a couple of years later, it vanished in a sea of layoffs. He does say, though, he was not involved with the game development under Embracer, though he was in contact with people to try and get back in and be on the team, and then it went away. He would have loved to have been there to finish off, but so far no news since then. That's sad to hear. I mean,
Yeah.
I do love the Deus Ex series, especially the newer ones. They were so enjoyable. So I would love to see something come back. To be honest with you.
They're just so fun to just chill and go through the game. Like the gameplay is it's different. It feels so different to like any of the other sort of stuff. I don't know
Oh
how or
yeah,
why.
no, I'm completely with you. So, Splash Damage says layoffs are likely as the Transformers game announced in 2022 is cancelled. To give people an understanding of what games Splash Damage actually made, which, by the way, they're apparently a British company. Except. So, what games have you guys worked on? That Transformers game, Reactivate, Gears Tactics, Halo MCC, Gears 5, Outcasters Dirty Bomb. I used to love that game. It used to be a free-to-play game on Steam. Absolutely fantastic. After that, you got Gears of War 4, Gears of War Ultimate Edition, which fantastic. Brink, another game I used to play quite a bit. Red Soldiers, Batman Arkham Origins. I didn't enjoy this one as much. Enemy Territory, Quake Wars, and Wolfenstein Enemy Territory. So they were actually there for quite a lot of the games that really. What's the word for it? They were there for a lot of the games that pretty much brought up a lot of like Steam and even like old scale games like Wolfenstein games, the old style that people used to adore and love. So I think it's interesting to see this, to be honest. Splash Damage has announced that it cancelled development of the online action game Transformers Reactivate, and that layoffs at the studio are likely as a result. Today we have some very difficult news to share. The decision has been made to end development of Transformers Reactivate, the studio said in a message posted to X. This means that we'll be scaling down to refocus our efforts on other projects. Unfortunately, despite every effort, a number of roles across the studio are now potentially at risk of redundancy. This decision did not come lightly, and it is a difficult time for the studio and our people. We want to take a moment to thank our team who work on Transformers for their dedication and passion. It was announced in 2022, online action game for 1 to 4 players.
Honestly, I didn't even know there was a Transformers game, man.
I knew it was announced, but that was about it. Hasbro has previously committed to a going big on video games following the runaway success of Baldur's Gate 3. So we should probably see more from Hasbro, surprisingly. Apparently, they've already got a big budget G.I. Joe game in the works. Bloody hell, that's a name I've not heard in years. Alongside Transformers Reactivate, Splash Damage was also working on Project Astrid, a survival game being developed in partnership with streamers Shroud and Sacriel. There is no indication that this project will be impacted by the layoffs, but I've reached out for more information and will update if I can receive a reply. Understandable. So, I know I said we were done, pretty much there. But there's one last thing I want to quickly mention, and it makes me sad to have to mention this. Me and Will have covered this briefly over the years that we've done this now, and this is something that I think we both agree on quite a bit. Loot boxes. Get rid of them.
Yeah.
It's recently.
Why get anything RNG anyway?
No, exactly. It's recently come back up in the community, especially the YouTube community, that loot boxing, gambling, CS:GO skin gambling primarily has kicked up again, and it is coming back with a vengeance. And there is a lot of fault to be put on these gambling sites, but at the same time, as big YouTuber who's out there called CoffeeZilla has stated himself, and he's completely correct in saying this, a lot of the blame does come down to Valve as well, or Steam. Because
they make so much money off of it, they're not going to stop it. There's no way.
Exactly, and that's what he's saying.
They get like 30? No, they get a decent portion. Like, and the amount of trading that goes on, like, why would
the
they
issue
ever
is
stop?
a lot of these sites don't check for age verification. You can easily
the age verification. They're all third-party websites. I ain't risking my Steam account, man.
Oh no, I'm very much the same as you. But the amount of kids and younger people who are getting addicted to gambling due to these sort of online casinos. And Valve isn't innocent either, because they do allow purchases of Steam keys and crates to show exactly what, to basically do what's basically a slot machine, which is weapon skins. And just to show that these things are pretty well known, to bypass this regulation in, I believe it was Australia, they made it so before you bought a key, before you bought the crate and opened it, it would actually show you what was in it. And until you actually used a key on that crate, you couldn't get anything else.
Interesting.
That was just to skirt that law. And it's what gambling sites and people like that do as well. That's how they skirt it. But because there's many different laws on it. And as I said, recently it's come back up. You can see here, there's definitely things coming up about it. And it's kind of sad to see, because Steam could do the right thing and fix the problem. And I would love to bloody see them do it again. You can see it's been going on since before 2017. I believe 2015 was when it was still going on massively. So I would like to see.
I've said it a few times. CS:GO isn't a game anymore. It's just a marketplace.
It is.
And if you try to play the game for just playing the game, you just run into cheaters.
You do. You are correct. And
I don't know.
it is very
It's a
sad.
mess.
I wanted to mention that because I am completely in agreement with them. At the same time, I can understand. Not really. No, I can't. It's something that needs working on. It's something that needs to be resolved because Steam is
I
the
think
best one we've got.
Steam Marketplace, where you can just, people can buy and sell the skins to each other.
Yeah.
If you want to pay that money, by all means, everything sort of like will eventually filter out its own price.
Yeah.
And average out as time goes on. But spending hundreds and thousands on a very minuscule chance of getting something,
Yeah.
that's not great.
It's not even just that. Like, these gambling sites out there are turning into like mafias and stuff. It's insanity. So, yeah, keep away from them. Just keep to what's legit, and keep away from gambling altogether. It's awful.
Yeah, it's not a good hole to go down at
No,
all.
not in the slightest. Don't recommend it. Stick to healthier vices like smoking. I'm joking. I'm joking.
Can we get that cut?
But no, I just wanted to say that before we ended. As well as that, what I do want to actually say is thank you everyone for your support over the last couple episodes. As we said to start with this episode, I can't believe we've been doing this for nearly 2 years now. Yes, we've
Crazy,
missed a
man.
couple episodes here and there, but blooming hell, we have been non-stop. And a huge thank you to Aki Olive, who has been constantly responding on our posts. It's been nice to get some responses and a bit of feedback about what we need to improve upon. The idea of going with, like, I believe it was webcam, stuff like that, so that we actually had camera footage, and sorting our audio out. That's definitely going to be a focus over the next year. I need to get that shit done. Get it down. But I think I've already taken a step to sort that now, to be honest with you. So
He
fingers
says
crossed.
that, but it's when this episode ends and he sits in silence for 30 seconds and then goes, "Oh no!" And that's when I just leave the voice chat, drop my PC out the window, and never turn on a device again.
You wouldn't do that. Plus, I know your address. I'll hunt you down.
And do what?
I don't know. Fucking kidnap you, throw you into a boat, and just send it into the river. You know.
Awesome.
Yeah, sounds fun.
All right, I'll wait.
Of course you would. But no, thank you all very much for your support over this last 2 years, and we hope that over this next year, you should see quite a bit of improvement and things going well. But we
Indeed,
do this.
we hope.
Yeah, we do this for enjoyment. We have a good laugh talking about it, and it's a big passion of ours. So yeah, thank you all very much. And with all that said and done, we'll end this episode here. So thank you all for watching. If you do enjoy, feel free to like, follow, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. And we will catch you all next time. Bye for now, guys.
See you again, guys.